Okay, so before we begin this story, I just want to clarify a few things. In a land where everything is trying to kill you, we call McDonald's Macca's. Got it? Good, because it's important to the story. Okay, so as you can probably tell, my first job was at McDonald's. And boy, was that a lot of fun. I spent 4.5 years working at one McDonald's store. And let me tell you, those were the hardest years of my life. And no, it wasn't because of the work, it was favoritism. Let's get this started. Now, during my 4.5 years at McDonald's, I had learnt just about everything. I put my hand up to learn many new things. I took a specific course in order to step up and was still denied the position. I started working for Macca's at the age of 18, straight out of high school, didn't want to go to uni, or college, whatever you want to call it. When I first started, I was in the kitchen, making all the burgers and all that fun stuff. And let me tell you, you did not want me in the kitchen. I was the worst person to be in there. And it's not because I was bossy, I just couldn't handle the stress load. But one day, it all changed. I went out to the front of house. I started talking to the customers. I was so much happier, I was relaxed, I was a lot better at what I was doing. And then I was tossed in the drive-thru after 6 months, and that's where everything went downhill. I got so good at doing the drive-thru, I took orders, and that's all I did. I got so good at it, I started to memorize customers' orders. And even that eventually became boring to me. Then I asked to start learning McCafe stuff, so making coffees and all that. And they taught me for a couple of weeks, and then I was back on the drive-thru. And when I heard they were looking for trainers, I put my hand up for it. I took the necessary training course and still got denied the job. I can recall, even at the interview, because everyone still had to go through an interview, as to why they wanted to be a crew trainer, they said, "You are the perfect candidate, but we're not going to pick you." Imagine my devastation. Now, I knew that was a bullshit answer, because I was perfect for it. At that stage, I knew how to do the cafe, I knew how to do drive-thru, I could work the front counter on my own, I could run the food to the other window, and not to mention, I knew how to work the kitchen so well, it didn't matter if I worked out the front all the time. I should have turned to them and said, "No, if you don't promote me, I'm walking." But I didn't. I just went home, all depressed, so sad. And from then on, I could tell I wasn't one of their favourites. Basically, I got to a point where I noticed that everyone else was moving up. Everyone who was so buddy-buddy with the boss was getting a promotion, and I was just staying where I was. That's when I started to spiral downhill. I started getting very depressed. I didn't want to go to work, but I still did. I was so depressed all the time that the customers started realizing. I even went to a therapist. No, I wasn't put on depression medication. The therapist basically said, "You need to get out of that job." And so I started looking. And honestly, a year on now, I don't work at Macca's anymore. I now work in a much better place. Nutritionally, physically, and mentally. And I'm surrounded by much better people.